Do you guys remember when I sold the Sony ZV-1 to get the iPhone 12 Pro? Yeah, that was a mistake. I mean, don't get me wrong, the iPhone 12 Pro is a great phone, a great camera, and does what I need it to do. But I missed having a small camera to capture B-roll of myself. I missed having a small camera to do my top-down shots or product reviews. It was such a great little camera, such an underrated camera, and I missed having it so much so that I had to buy another one. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. We'll talk about them in a second, but in this video, I want to talk about the 3 reasons why I needed to get the Sony ZV-1 again. First of all, this camera has such a low profile. Like, it's not necessarily as big as a mirrorless or DSLR camera, and so if you are in a location where you kind of want to be inconspicuous, did I say that right? Inconspicuous? I think I said that right. If you're in a location where you needed to be inconspicuous, dang it, the ZV-1 would be the perfect low profile camera to have. Also, it shoots incredible 4K video, shoots really good slow motion video, and also captures some pretty decent stills. There were many times where I needed to have my main camera to be in the thumbnail, and so having an actual camera like the ZV-1 to take your thumbnail photos is just perfect. And since the ZV-1 is a low profile camera, this can fit into any camera bag. So whether it's a backpack or a shoulder bag, you can slip this camera right in. Of course, you've got the fully articulating flip out screen, that's always nice. Oh, and it turns on when you open up the screen. The internal mic of the camera is actually pretty decent, and so if you accidentally forgot to bring your mic, or if you just don't like using an external mic, you could totally use the audio from the Sony ZV-1. It's a compact camera, so you can't put interchangeable lenses on this camera, but the zoom lens built within the ZV-1 is actually pretty decent. Of course, you have the common ports that you would find in most cameras. You got a mic jack, you have a USB port, and a micro HDMI port. So you can plug an external mic, you can charge the camera with the USB port, or even connect the camera to your computer with the USB port and use it as a live webcam. Sony just released a firmware update where you can use the ZV-1 as a webcam by using the USB port, which is freaking incredible. And of course, with the micro HDMI port, you can connect this camera to a TV if you want. So for a low profile compact camera, the ZV-1 can do a lot. The second reason why I got the Sony ZV-1 is the product showcase feature. Now, if you don't know what the product showcase feature is, or have never heard of it before, it's the best type of autofocusing that you can find in a mirrorless camera. Like, no joke, the ZV-1 has the best autofocusing mechanics in the market right now. It's better than the A7S III, no joke, better than the A7S III, and just as good as the A7C and A7 III. I mean, the name itself, product showcase, means you can showcase whatever product you're showing in front of the camera. That's what it's meant for. The ZV-1 will prioritize focusing on your face, but if you show a product in front of the camera, the ZV-1 will focus on that object really fast, and when you take that object away, it'll go back to focusing on your face fast and accurate. And what's great is that when the ZV-1 is trying to figure out which object to focus on, you don't see any focus breathing at all. It just looks really natural. Like, you don't see any of those weird in focus, out of focus glitches that you would in some mirrorless cameras. Granted, the type of lens that you're using does contribute to the focus breathing, but with the ZV-1, you don't see any of that at all, which makes this camera the perfect camera to showcase your products, hence the name Product Showcase. Before we move on, let's go ahead and thank today's sponsor, Skillshare. I love cameras, you love cameras, I'm a filmmaker, you're most likely a filmmaker or photographer. We are all creatives doing our thing, and as we do our thing, there are still a lot of things for us to learn to better ourselves, not just in our craft, but as creative entrepreneurs and as leaders. And that's why I like having resources like Skillshare to help me learn new things to better my craft and to grow as a creative entrepreneur. If you don't know Skillshare, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. You can find classes to explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. Skillshare classes include a combination of video lessons and a class project. They even have classes that fit your schedule and skill level. And if you become a member, you get unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes with hands-on projects and feedback from a community of millions. I haven't really been the best at Instagram, so I know I need to get better, which is why I'm taking the class about video for Instagram. It's taught by Halis Narvez, and I'm learning a lot of things that I didn't know about video for Instagram. It's one of those things where it's like, you you should know this because it's video, but it's video for Instagram, so it's a little different. But it's a class that I've been really enjoying taking, and hopefully by the end of the course, I'll get to create some more meaningful content on my Instagram. There's a bunch of other courses that you can take too in illustration, graphic design, photography, productivity, marketing, freelance, and entrepreneurship. There's just a ton of classes that you can take. And for the first 1,000 people to join Skillshare using my link below, you'll get a free trial of their premium membership so that you can explore your creativity. So make sure to head down to the video description and join. Huge thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this episode, and now, back to the ZV-1. And finally, the third reason why I wanted to get the Sony ZV-1 again is the background defocus feature. There's a button on the top of the camera that is the background defocus button, and what this feature does is that it blurs out the background no matter what focal length you're shooting in. It blurs out the background so you can have that nice creamy bokeh. It is such a cool feature, and I don't know how Sony does it, but no matter what focal length you shoot at, whether you're shooting wide or shooting tight, like when you press the background defocus button, it will blur out the background just like that. That is insane to me because for a small compact camera like this, you wouldn't expect this camera to shoot images that look like it was shot on a full frame camera. Whatever Sony put into this camera, like you can have that nice blurry background in your photos and videos, no matter what focal length. That's insane. Okay, so this is the background defocus test. I am shooting at f10, meaning that most of the frame should look pretty sharp. So now I'm gonna press the background defocus button, which would bring my f-stop to 1.8. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. Oh, look at that. That is so good and so fast. Love it. And there's a ton more features why I love the Sony ZV-1. Honestly, it is probably one of the most underrated cameras out in the market. But for me, it's such a good companion camera to have alongside my Sony a7S III. In fact, I've used this camera to shoot some pretty cinematic looking videos and some pretty good photos. Yes, there are limitations because it is a compact camera with a small sensor, but for the size of the camera and for what it can do, it's a pretty impressive camera to have. And if you haven't checked it out, then check it out, link below. Oh, it feels good. Feels good to have this again. Well, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Would love for you to be a part of this community. And hit that bell, that little bell, so that you get notified for upcoming videos. But other than that, that's it for me, folks. Have an incredible rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.